Today's video is all about the Bullfrog. Recently, it's becoming very popular. It's been recommended to me by a bunch of viewers, and it's supposedly coming up as a new meta SMG for Warzone. So in this video, we'll be doing 3 different things. First, we will compare it to the MAC-10, what's better, what's worse. Second, we'll be talking about the attachments, because a lot of attachments don't do what they say, and some have secret buffs or debuffs. And then lastly, I'll be giving you my recommended setup. And of course, this video has timestamps, so if you're just looking for a certain thing like the broken attachments or the recommended setup, you could just scroll and get what you need. So the first thing to cover, MAC-10 or Bullfrog. Just a disclaimer, these stats here were gathered by TrueGameData.com. This website is ran by a guy who literally goes into Plunder for 10 hours a day, testing every attachment on every gun. He's recently done most of the Cold War weapons, so we can finally see how they compare. Anyways, as you can see here, the MAC-10 is a clear pick in TTK, especially when you go out past 20 meters. However, one thing to look at here is the headshot damage. The MAC-10 headshot damage was nerfed a bunch, I think twice. So what this means is that if you're using the Bullfrog and you're able to hit headshots consistently, you're going to win most fights compared to the MAC-10. However, there's more to it. Hitting headshots in close range is pretty tough. Most of your enemies are going to be sliding around or jumping around corners, so you're not going to be able to hit headshots 100% of the time, but even hitting one can take the TTK down considerably. Now, something else to consider with the MAC-10, off the bat, it's got faster mobility, by far. It's got faster ADS, got way faster strafing speed, faster reload, and faster movement speed. So, of course, it's going to be a little more mobile. However, when you put attachments on both of these, this is no longer the case, and let me show you what I mean. Now, going back on before, the Bullfrog is 50 rounds in a mag, MAC-10 is 32. So when you use a MAC-10, you're gonna need an extended mag of some kind. So when we go to put an extended mag on, as you can see over here, it adds on considerable ADS time. And so in the end, when you put attachments on both weapons, the MAC-10 is gonna have the same ADS, if not longer ADS, than the Bullfrog. The last thing to consider is its general ease of use. As you can see with the MAC-10, its recoil is like an S. It's very hard to control. Even if you pull the stick straight down, you're still going to get shots going left and right. However, with the Bullfrog, it's straight vertical and it's very, very easy to control. So when you're hitting shots 20, 30 meters, you're going to be way more accurate with the Bullfrog than you would be with the MAC-10. And for all those reasons, I would definitely recommend giving the Bullfrog a shot. If you don't have it leveled up yet, I have a video here that shows the fastest possible way to level up weapons in Warzone. Whether they be Cold War or Modern Warfare guns, it's all the same stuff. Okay, so now we can cover the attachments. As you may know already, there's a lot of attachments that are completely bugged out. They don't do anything like they say they do. For example, the barrels that offer more damage, that's completely fake news. They don't offer any additional damage. Firstly, let's talk about muzzles. Off the bat, I'm going to say the GRU suppressor is going to be your best pick. While it keeps you off the minimap, it's going to increase your range by 10%, and it also helps out with recoil. I'm going to show you the wall test I did here for recoil. The one on the right is without any attachments, and the 4 on the left are with muzzles that reduce recoil. And as you can see, the compensator is going to be great for reducing recoil, but for the sake of keeping you off the map and all the other bonuses I talked about, the GRU still gets the job done. Next up are the barrel attachments. I'm going to show you the true game data stats for all these, and let's talk about them. Judging from this list, the best one that I would use is the Task Force barrel, as it's going to improve your range, and it's also going to greatly improve your bullet velocity. Bullet velocity is important because it makes your weapon feel much more consistent, especially when you're shooting at long ranges. But again, Task Force barrel will be the best one on this list. Now with the laser attachments, there's only 3 of them that reduce your hipfire area. However, the best one out of these is simply going to be the 5 milliwatt laser sight. One thing to consider is that these lasers don't improve your ADS time. On Modern Warfare guns, the 5 milliwatt will actually increase your sprint out time and your ADS, but with Cold War guns, it doesn't seem like the case. Now for the underbarrel attachments, here is the wall test that I did for this, and as you could see, they are mostly the same. You could pick any of the last 3. I don't think a difference between them would really throw any games. If I had to pick one, I think the Spetsnaz grip would be best because it doesn't slow down any of the ADS, movement speed, or anything like that, and it still reduces recoil a fair amount. You can pick the Spetsnaz speed grip that's all the way to the left. However, it's going to reduce your movement speed and then also your ADS movement speed. It's just going to make you a lot slower. Now for the ammo, I'm just going to throw up the stats here and show you what they mean. The fast mags, as you can see, offer little to no benefit. At most, it's a half second. And then the larger mags don't even affect your reload time. But the larger mags, except the 65 round, are going to increase your ADS speed, similar to how we mentioned with the Mac 10. If we had to go with a choice off this list, I would definitely pick the 65 round. It offers no benefit other than 15 more bullets. However, it offers no disadvantage, no extra ADS. And then the rear grips are even worse, as they offer no noticeable advantage on any of the attachments. They claim to increase ADS time and reduce flinch, but those are both wrong. True game data says that it reduces your ADS by 4 milliseconds. However, you can't even begin to comprehend how quick 4 milliseconds is. And for an attachment slot, there's no worth in it whatsoever. If anything, it's going to hinder your mobility because the sprint to fire times are increased. And then there's flinch resistance, which doesn't even work. As you can see from JGod's post here, it actually increases the flinch on most weapons. So bottom line, rear grips are absolutely useless, not worth an attachment slot. And then the stocks for this gun are surprisingly well rounded. If you don't care that much about hipfire, I would recommend either the no stock or the PKM stock. This depends on whether you want a faster reaction time or you want to be harder to hit while shooting. Lastly, there's optics, which is entirely preference. These don't increase or decrease recoil like some others would, and it really just comes down to whatever you want. The vision tech, the axial arms, and the multi-zoom all reduce your ADS time, but it's barely enough to be noticeable in game. And with all that considered, let's get a setup going. First of all, Greer suppressor. Keeps you off the minimap, increases your range, and decreases recoil. Second, we're putting on the Task Force barrel. It doesn't actually improve damage, but what it does is increases your velocity and your damage range. Third attachment, we're putting on the 5mm laser. It's got the tightest hipfire possible, so we're just going to throw that on for CQC. Then we're going to throw on a Spetsnaz grip. This is just going to reduce your recoil along with the suppressor. And then lastly, you put on whatever you want. It's mostly preference, whether it be an optic, ammo. Rear grips don't work at all. What I would do is I would put on a stock and I would put on the no stock. This is going to help me be much more competitive with my reaction time, and it helps catch up to the Mac 10 in terms of mobility. So that is the setup that I use for the Bullfrog. Here are the final results of all of its stats, its ADS time, velocity, compared to the Bullfrog with no attachments. Overall, I think the Bullfrog is a great weapon, and it's better than what most people would think. It's got a large mag size and it is extremely accurate. Could it become the meta? Maybe. It really just depends on how many streamers use it. But again, accuracy is super important for its practicality. That's why when you see guns like the Kilo that have pretty miserable damage are still the meta, just because they are so accurate and so easy to use. But again, this gun is great. I would recommend giving it a try in Warzone. And with all that, I am going to go ahead and wrap up the video. Hope it was valuable to you. Now just one quick shout before I go. If you guys have any questions or just want to talk Warzone, you're more than welcome to join my Discord. It's something that we use every day to just talk, post memes, and discuss video games. So if you're interested, the invite link is in the description. My name is Wetzel, and until next time, peace.